What up? Hey, it's been a while. So I'm just kind of at a bit of a crossroads right now. Just in terms of like the weight I've lost and the kind of getting my energy levels back from having really extreme severe fatigue. I feel like I'm kind of at this halfway point, and I don't know. I just felt the need to sit down and talk about it and kind of canvas you guys a little bit about what comes next. First of all, back in 2018, when my asthma was really severe, I was like, really like, I mean, it was bad. Like, it was starting to be a real health scare because, a couple of different inhalers that I was trying was making me a lot worse after giving me temporary relief. And I was screwed, like I didn't have, I, I didn't have a solution really. And, I was really kind of forced to try to figure it out on my own. And that's when I stumbled across, Grant Generu and vitamin A restriction and vitamin A toxicity. And lo and behold, when I started, playing around with that, it worked great. So, I mean, it was obvious. I knew that this was something big, but I was still gaining weight. I still was like feeling not very well in many other ways. My energy levels still sucked. So just fixing asthma is like it's a breakthrough. It's awesome, but um, you know that's just a small result. That's not enough to go out there and just evangelize it. Like, oh, this diet's the greatest. Look at this 300-pound dude talking about how great this dietary intervention is. Not very convincing, but I knew it was something big because first it was the asthma. Then I started to notice that my pet allergies were getting better. Well, I mean, fast forward to now where I'm a lot more strict with the vitamin A. It gets my lungs super clear, and yeah, my allergies to pets. I mean, it's crazy. I was just over at a house. Look at all this pet hair. Look at all this dog hair all over me. I mean, there's like dog hair all over the floor. Dogs crawling all over me. I'm petting them. They're licking me. In the past, like if dog licked me or its fur brushed up against my skin, especially like, on this tender skin, on the wrist and underneath the forearm, I would just get like bumps and super itchy. I'd have to go in with like Dawn and scrub my arm. And like if I think about like ex-girlfriends of mine and stuff like that, if they saw me like with dogs crawling all over me and stuff like that and me petting them and being completely fine, right? I'm not itchy around the neck, I'm not breaking out in like a rash. Um, the roof of my mouth isn't like starting to itch and everything. Like, and then the sneezing. I've had like violent sneeze attacks after 5 minutes in this exact same house, and I was hanging out, for an hour or two, just chilling. Literally, like dogs crawling all over me, licking me. I'm petting them. I'm putting them right in my face. Just getting all up in there, and yeah, which is great. I mean, I'm a dog lover from my youth until I became allergic to dogs. So I mean, it's really great to have that back in my life again. But that's huge. In addition to that, in 2021, I just kind of slowly started losing weight. Now, it wasn't that I was like just losing weight. It was like, I got COVID. I had a fever for a while. I lost 10 pounds. And then what was amazing is I didn't gain the weight back, right? Which is weird because, every experience I've had losing weight, like I gained it back twice as fast as I lost it, no matter what. If I think about even when I was like a wilderness ranger, 19, 20, and 21 years old, that's how old I was my first 3 seasons working for the Forest Service. And, I lost weight each one of those 3 seasons. And then I gained, all the weight back immediately. This year I lost some weight. I started hiking more. We spent the summer out west. We didn't do a lot of hiking. I mean, I hiked maybe 60, 70 miles total, which was like, there were weeks I did more than that back in the day. But I lost like 25 pounds, and I haven't gained any of it back. Not any, not an ounce. And it's crazy. And so, anyway, what I'm getting at is that I'm kind of at this crossroads, right? I've lost 65 pounds. I've probably got another 65 to go. It's taken me 3 years to lose 65 pounds. I mean, but things are accelerating now that I'm incorporating, a little bit of exercise into what I'm doing. My energy levels are coming back. So now we're catching some momentum, right? I'm able to pursue fitness because my energy levels are better. I can work, at one point I couldn't work more than 30 minutes or so without being all dizzy. My energy, my fatigue got so bad I couldn't even read a book. I would read for 30 minutes and I would be like super dizzy and have to lay down. I mean, I can read, certainly I can read, and I can do a lot more work. I can have long conversations that used to just wipe me out, talk to people over the phone. I mean, there's just things that I just couldn't do. I was living like a chronic fatigue hermit for many years. And so the energy levels are like coming back strong. My ability to, my stress tolerance and ability to withstand exercise, I can go daily now. That was huge. At the beginning of the year, I was talking about that a lot in my videos. Like the goal was to get back to being able to do some physical activity daily, and I'm totally there. You know, so that's just huge. So the energy is fixed, the weight's coming off, and I can't gain it back. I mean, it just can't. I couldn't gain it back, without eating a lot of vitamin A and stuff like that. Of course, I could probably crush a ton of pizza and ice cream and stuff like that and put the weight on, but I can't do it eating vitamin A free version. And believe me, I mean, the quantity of food that I'm eating and the lack of restriction and macronutrients and calories and sugar and PUFA and all that stuff. I mean, I ate dozens of pounds of peanuts, peanut butter, cashews, fast food French fries. I just looked at my recent Amex billing statement. 11 trips to McDonald's in the last month, right? We're on road trips. We drove from Cheyenne to Nashville down to Florida, where we're at now. We got to drive all the way back. So several more days of driving, staying in hotels, eating whatever. I calculated that I ate something like over 3,000 Oreos in this year. I drank over 100 gallons of full sugar sweetened drinks, sweet tea, Sprite, root beer, Kool-Aid, Gatorade. I mean, it's just crazy. I'm not, even when I was like a 20, I couldn't get away with doing what I'm doing now in terms of, my ability to just crush fats, white flour, sugar, like crazy, as much as I want, unlimited. And so I just kind of think about where my place is in all this, right? Because you have Grant, who is kind of the scientist, right? He just wanted to prove that the human being can survive without vitamin A, and this whole vitamin A thing is just bad science. It's not a required vitamin. It's a toxin, and so he's eaten the same thing every day for like 10 years, basically, right? Because he doesn't want to risk any possibility of getting any vitamin A in his food whatsoever, screwing up his experiment. And then there's Garrett, Dr. Garrett Smith, who's latched on to this vitamin A thing and has kind of taken it in his own direction and is running with it. Garrett's always been about, trying to find like really the optimal diet. He's all about, being organic, everything, whole foods, because of his focus on the liver. He thinks, eating a lot of refined sugar is a terrible idea, not good for the liver. And so, he's got all these different dietary restrictions, in terms of the quality of the food and things like that. And he's interested in other things, right? He's got the minerals, he's got, all these different elements and aspects. He does testing. To me, it's like he's trying to create, kind of like a perfect regimen, and he's troubleshooting it and complicating it in ways. And yes, human health is complex, and people's real like health problems require often, more complex solutions to get at the root of whatever's going on. I appreciate all that, right? But where I'm at right now is I think, well, I'm the guy who I don't want people looking at me getting good results and saying, well, it's because he's eating a mundane diet. He eats the same thing every day, right? Because Grant gets that all the time. Go on a repeat forum, it's like, oh, he's not eating foods he's allergic to. That's why he's getting these good results. He's got no PUFA in his diet, so that's why he's getting good results. Other people might say, well, he doesn't eat any sugar, so that's what he's getting the good results from. It's not all just from, restricting vitamin A. Well, I'm hoping to slay a lot more sacred cows, and that, oh, well, you can't say that I'm not eating calorie dense foods. You can't say that I'm not eating, high reward food, pleasure center foods, high dopamine kind of stuff. You can't say that I'm avoiding refined carbohydrates. That's practically the only kind of carbohydrates I eat, and that's like 50+% of the calories that I get in my diet. You can't say it's, fat restriction, you know. I've been eating steak and brisket and stuff like that, and burgers almost every day for lunch, at least once. And like I've been eating like fast food French fries. Tonight I had a double. I had a brisket with a double order of French fries um, at a restaurant. I'm eating restaurant food. That's another one. A lot of it like corporate restaurant food that's full of flavor enhancers and things like that. That's the supposed culprit behind the obesity epidemic. Anyway, what I'm trying to do is say, okay, if you only do this, restrict vitamin A, and you just, don't worry about anything else whatsoever, it's still possible to get really good results. I want to isolate vitamin A in a way to say, okay, let's eat the junkiest diet ever with no vitamin A. And if magic is happening, that really speaks. To me, that's more of a testament to how important this vitamin A is and how central it is to the causation of a lot of different, modern health problems and epidemics. The allergy, the asthma, the autoimmune disease, and possibly to some extent, metabolic dysfunction, right? Because that's a whole other class that's like a different epidemic, right? The metabolic diseases that are related to insulin resistance, the obesity, the insulin resistance, the diabetes, the high blood pressure, the metabolic syndrome. That's obviously something that's just has risen tremendously over the last several decades, and everybody wants to know what the solution to that is as well. It certainly took a while for it to kick in for me, several years, but I had a bad attitude about it. I was resenting the fact that I had to restrict my diet, and I was finding the absolute maximum amount of vitamin A containing foods that I could eat and get away with, right? So every week, every 5 or 6 days, I'm having a pizza binge, and I'm going hard, right? It's like, oh man, my only day to get vitamin A, let's eat a whole pizza. Let's drink orange juice. Let's have a milkshake. So anyway, I've had a huge attitude change lately. Number one, I feel super lucky and fortunate that I've stumbled upon this, right? I'm going back to 2018 when I began. I'm probably one of the first 100 people on the face of the earth that's intentionally trying to restrict vitamin A to get a health benefit. So, very lucky that I found this at all, that I got the relief from this serious health condition that I can turn on and off like a switch. I'm doing things that I never thought possible. My exes would be in disbelief. They've taken me to the hospital to get like emergency like albuterol nebulizers because of encounters with pet dander, right? What 46-year-old person just all of a sudden has no pet allergies anymore? Like they're just gone. It's possible to outgrow pet allergies. That happens. Like sometimes they suddenly disappear. And we could talk about that in a future video, but I could bring mine back in a week. I could be hyperreactive, itchy, sneezing, all that stuff, and having asthma. I could bring that back in a week. I could just pull that lever and bring it right back. And so being able to turn it on and off is pretty powerful evidence that this is big. But yeah, I'm at a point now where I just, instead of seeing how much I can get away with, I want to be really strict with it. But this crossroads that I'm at is part of me is wanting to like take it to the next level by, okay, let's get more whole foodsy. Let's make the diet more nutritious. Let's make it more balanced and sustainable. I get a lot of heat in the comments like, why are you eating all this sugar? Why are, you know better than this. You need B vitamins. You need blah, blah, blah. And I appreciate that kind of feedback. But I feel like my role, and you guys can answer it. What do you think? Should I tighten it up and start eating a lot more like whole foods porridges with blackstrap molasses to try to get proper amount of calcium because there's hardly any calcium in my diet, for example. Should I do so should I supplement anything? Should I be drinking more fruit juice and less Kool-Aid? What the should I be cutting out? Should I be cutting these things out and eating more of like a traditional healthier diet that's a little bit more sustainable? Or are you guys you know with the interest of like having something that's powerful to show to the masses, to take to the masses, to share with people and have them implement it from all walks of life? I'm kind of leaning towards just kind of trying to keep doing what I'm doing. um, Hell, I'm I've even had the thought, since I've never been a drinker, um, of actually starting to drink to prove that alcohol, in addition to all this stuff, you can have as part of your diet and still have dramatic improvement in your health. That's kind of where I'm at. So yeah, I'd love to chat about it and have your feedback in the comments. You know, should I improve my diet, or should I just keep doing what I'm doing, and let's see how far somebody eating a vitamin A free junk food diet. Let's see, how far that could take somebody. You guys want to see that? Because I'm more curious about that. You know, I don't want confounding variables. I don't want people being like, well, yeah, he ate, whole wheat and buckwheat porridge every day. Of course he lost weight. Of course he got healthier. I don't want that. I'd rather it just be like, dude, it's the vitamin A, and only the vitamin A that is, the culprit in my personal health problems. And who else does this apply to? Who else is poisoned by vitamin A who might benefit from it? And yeah, we'll see. I mean, I hope. I'm like I said, I'm like at the halfway point. I'm not gonna go like super evangelize everything, being somebody who just looks like a typical 46-year-old balding, aging, chubby American guy. That's not that's not very convincing to people. Um, so I'm not ready to go out there and just be this super like evangelist guy for a vitamin A free diet. But now that I'm at the halfway point, it's kind of like, dude, this is, you know, if I make it the rest of the way, watch out. This is going to be a powerful thing to share with everybody, and people will listen again because holy shit, this dude, was over 300 and couldn't even read a book. And at the prime of his life, when he's practically, a pro level skier, 22 years old. My pet allergies are so bad that I was sleeping in the backyard in a tent in the wintertime at my girlfriend's parents' house. How weird is that? I'd only come in the house to like use the bathroom and shower, and I was out there sleeping in a tent for several months, like with temperatures like sub-zero temps, usually by myself. Yes, my my girlfriend's hanging out in the house, with the sleeping with her cat. That's where I've come from, right? Hospitalizations from pet dander, and emergency nebulizer treatments and all this. So yeah, I've come a long way, and I'm starting to gain a lot of confidence that vitamin A restriction is not just a tool for allergies and asthma, but could go way beyond that. And yeah, combined with being more physically active and having a little bit of healthier habits, things are just accelerating for me now, and I'm excited about that. And I don't really have any big reason to change dramatically what I'm doing and try to become, a health fanatic trying to eat some kind of perfect healthy diet. Some point I can do that when I feel like I've proven sufficiently that vitamin A restriction and vitamin A restriction alone, without any of the other things, if it can get really great results and I'm satisfactorily have proven that, then sure, for my own personal health, I can choose to make a few adjustments that I think are going to be better long-term strategies than literally eating Oreos with every meal, which I do. I religiously eat Oreos every meal, and I average over 10 a day, which is over 3,000 for the year. That's where I'm coming up with those numbers. So anyway, let me know what you guys think. I mean, is this like insane that I'm eating this way? Or is this like amazing that I'm accomplishing everything that I'm accomplishing eating this way? I mean, there's two ways that you can look at it. Wow, this guy's making incredible health improvements, eating the worst diet I've ever heard. Or this guy's a complete idiot for eating this way. Why would I listen to anything he has to say when he eats Oreos? What kind of health expert slash health advisor eats shit like that? I don't know. Like I said, I'm kind of at a crossroads. Do I tighten it up or do I just keep pressing forward? You guys let me know.